The
Mhm.
whole thing of helping children who have experienced trauma is to help them put their jigsaw pieces of their life puzzle together.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why we offer life story work. That's why
Mhm.
having later letters and all of that kind of support around a child helps them to understand their background and their picture of their future as they grow up. But if part of that piece is a neurodivergent assessment that hasn't been done just because they have trauma, that's a big piece of the picture that's
Mm.
missing.
Huge, huge, and a big part of their identity. I mean, we know the identities of children, with trauma are blurry. Am I part of this family, a different family? Do I identify as being, like my birth parents or more like my foster or adoptive parents? Do I identify as being from this town or that town? There's so much attached to what their identity actually looks like. And then if someone puts a cloud over the way their brain functions when it comes to being neurodivergent or not, I mean, like, it is a huge, huge piece, and it's something that we potentially not necessarily disregard, but are maybe not putting enough focus on at times. And again, it's not about, as you said earlier, giving that label. It's about what that title, that part of the identity can open up in future or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that we are doing some children a disservice by shrinking away from the
Mm.
neurodiverse labeling.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and we should actually be embracing it the
Yeah.
same as we embrace their trauma past. And I think as well for birth parents, like I said, many of my friends have got neurospicy children, no diagnosis, but you can tell that the traits are there. You can tell that they're seeing the world through a different perspective. They just have a
Yeah.
slightly different lens as they're viewing everything. Um, those parents need that part where they can be accepted as well, and they need to be shared the same skills that I've been given as a foster carer, to help support their children.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just thinking about those who I yeah, I think about leaning into the diagnosis and how far we lean, because I've also supported therapeutic parents who lean so far into the diagnosis that it kind of takes over. I guess that's what more worrying on the other end of the scale, isn't it? About the fact that, oh, well, we can't do this because my child is autistic, or we can't go here because of the ADHD. Oh, that okay, they were, let's use the bunny ears term loosely, naughty in school today, but it's okay. They can't help it because of their autism or their ADHD, or they didn't listen because of the PDA and things like that. And they're almost using it, dare I say it, and let's see if we'll get some complaints from this. Dare I say it, as an excuse at times. I can't go here and do this because my child has this, or I can't, we can't be expected to manage this well because of this, as opposed to going, okay, it's a challenge. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, I'm going to have to shift my expectations and how the day or the event or the thing or even the transition might look like. But does it mean that we completely shy away from it and use it as almost a barrier to the development? I don't know. Have you sort of experienced that in any places, Mandy? Because I've seen it a lot and it frustrates me so much.
Yes. Yes, I have seen it. And yes, I've spoken to parents who, I need to take my child to a doctor. She needs medicating because of her
Mm,
ADHD. And you think, oh, well, I hear what you're saying, but is medicating the first option? Is there
mm,
other things we can do before medicating? And again, for my children, I've never medicated any of them, but then I've never had an official diagnosis for any of them.
sure, sure.
Think that, and I might offend some people now, so I'm going to apologize in advance. I think sometimes that excuse mindset, my child couldn't possibly get to school on time because they're autistic, don't you know? Who
Mm,
is that making an excuse for? Is that an
mm,
excuse
absolutely.
for the child, or is it actually the parent is really struggling with that child right now? They are feeling shame and they are feeling embarrassed because they feel that their parenting is being judged. And so it's easier to make those excuses than it is to actually say, okay, what I'm doing isn't working and I need to think outside of the box.
Yeah.
Low
Yeah.